and welcome to the Oddity Archive, the show that is always educational, if only because I said so. Well, today's a bit of a milestone for us here in Archive Land. Today marks our 10th entry into the VHS vault, and for the occasion I figured we should have some special guests. But being a stereotypical internet reviewer and all, I don't have any friends, and so we'll just have to settle for the people on the tape. But it's appropriate today, funny how those things work, because the whole idea of today's show is about learning with the stars. So, as you may or may not know, back in the 80s and 90s, there were a lot of how-to tapes floating around. And in a totally understandable attempt at spiking sales, some of them were hosted by celebrities, even if they had no experience with the subject matter. So, there you go. But anyway, let's get down to business here. Today's first tape comes to us by way of Kodak Video, and yes, that Kodak, the camera and film company, although this has nothing to do with photography. So anyway, we're going to be taking a look at something that I'm admittedly a little afraid to try and riff, and that is Yo-Yo Man with the Smothers Brothers. And this came out back in 1988, and I have good reason to believe this was more than anything intended to tie in with the short-lived revival of the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. Now, of course, this tape is labeled as an instructional video on how to use a yo-yo. So, getting into the spirit of things, I popped down to the dollar store and picked up a yo-yo. I used to have one of these when I was like 7 or 8 years old, but I couldn't do anything with it except hurt myself. Yeah, maybe I'm a little better now. But anyway, admittedly, I'm kind of afraid to try and riff this tape because it's the Smothers Brothers. But I picked it for today's episode for 2 reasons. One, this honestly just ain't exactly prime Smothers. And 2, if you're familiar with their act at all, you know, it was born out of the folk revival in the late 50s and especially the early and mid 60s. And as such, their act is very much grounded in that time. And even if it weren't for the censorship troubles that they had, I think their careers kind of would have fizzled out anyway come 1970 or so. Just because, again, it's so tied to its time. So here they're trying to update things a little bit, and honestly, the attempts are a little bit on the lunk-headed side, even in that Smothers meta kind of way. So anyway, let's give this one a fair shake anyway. I mean, the idea is to teach us how to use a yo-yo, something that I have no talent for whatsoever, and let's see just how good of teachers the Smothers Brothers are.
Let's all be like the yo-yo man.
This thing has more alternate titles than a bad horror film.
Rock the baby from the palm of your hand. Around the world, then do it again.
Then do some tricks with Neanderthal Man. Yeah.
Round the corner, baby in the crib.
Then steal some clothes from the clearance table.
Shoot the moon, it's not too far. In a flying saucer, you'll find your star. It's a little bit hard, but never say die.
Well, not till that sumbitch hits you in the eye.
Don't ever give up, don't ever get low. Keep on trying and just say yo, yo, yo.
Words.
Hi, I'm Dick Smothers.
He said Dick Smothers.
Boy, now I've grown up to be the voice of Yo.
Dare to
I'm
dream.
here to tell you how my brother Tom, after many years of searching and long hours of practice, became the Yo-Yo Man.
Admittedly, it wasn't much of a stretch for Tom.
We started out with a normal family life, with Mom, Tom, and me, and we had a healthy and happy childhood. That is until Tom talked me into joining the Army.
At age 8,
Well, discharge, Tom and I went off and pursued the truth of life, which ultimately led us to the state of Yo.
Yick. the bastard claymation offspring of Tom Smothers and Stan Laurel.
No one knows when or where the yo-yo made its first appearance on this planet.
Uh-oh, Illuminati symbols.
That it goes way, way, way back to near the beginning of time.
The 20s. BC.
After the discovery of string. But one thing for sure, the yo-yo has remained very...
Ow, 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 ow. Knock it off, George. Ow. Come on, Lincoln's time traveled here to see you. Ow, ow, ow. Put that stupid thing away. Ow, ow, ow. Ow, 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 ow. Yes, Napoleon's American now. Ow, 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 ow.
For the pure and supreme state of yo!
Knock that off, my son. God, it's an evil albino gingerbread man.
Do you know how the state of yo can give you new life? Do you know how the state of yo can lift your spirits?
By the bootstraps?
Do you know how the state of yo can change an ordinary dullard into someone special? Well, take a look at this man.
He's right. Suddenly I've got this urge to drink a bunch of Brandy Alexanders, stick a Kotex to my forehead, and hurl obscenities at him.
Not a living thing could stand to be in his presence. Flowers would wilt, food would spoil, animals and insects would
Keep rolling.
bite him and then die gladly. For instance, witness this encounter with a small child. "Hello, small child," he said. "Ooh." You see, even the child recognized this man's apparent lack of yo. "Pardon me, miss, I'm a stranger in your town. Could you please show me the way to your house?" he said.
You're just not a playa until you're good with yo-yos.
Sour old political losers.
Oh hey, I voted for him for 4 presidential elections in a row now.
Well, this is getting me nowhere, he said. And that's when he discovered the yo-yo. He saw the light. He heard the music. He found the groove. It's Yo-Yo Man!
Who lost his suspenders in the process.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's something even more special. It's...
A very flamboyant monk!
My brother Tom could not believe his eyes. "I want to be a yo-yo man," he cried. "Make me a yo-yo man."
You already are. Haven't you been listening?
He just kept on yoing.
As entire strips of his body disappeared.
"Please?" "Yes," he said. "But first, you must learn the basics of yo."
But even before that, let's check in with this rejected Art Clokey character.
By stringing the yo. Slip the yo-yo through the loop of the string. Now give it a twist to the right.
The only right-leaning movement you'll ever see out of Tommy Smothers.
That's right. Now hold the yo-yo between your feet.
Oh goody. I've always wanted a Tommy Smothers crotch shot.
Clip off the string. That's right, yo-yo man. Ooh, watch out, yo-yo man. That's not where you're supposed to put the scissors.
Unless you haven't been circumcised.
That length is, you don't want it so long that the yo-yo keeps banging the ground. Now that's right, yo-yo man. Tie a nice little knot right there at the top.
Hey, they stole Ed's finger!
Now tie a little loop around the end of the string. And you don't want
God, this music sounds like Randy Newman got drunk and made an album on a Casio
the
tone.
finger and cuts off circulation, so have it a nice loose loop, like it shows right there in the diagram.
Do not attempt this knot unless you were a Boy Scout at some point.
Place the string of the loop around your middle finger, just behind the first knuckle. Right there. That's good.
Oh yay, it's the deformed vaudevillian Pillsbury Doughboy again.
It's important never to aim the yo-yo directly at anybody. And make sure you have plenty of room for tricks. Because you never know when you might lose that state of yo.
Well, you know what they say about the size of a claymation's feet.
In honor of the yo-yo man's completion.
Yeah, the yo-yo master is so awesome, his arms don't even have to be attached.
Material goods? No, he did not. He simply asked for and received his very own suspenders. That
In fact, the very same ones he was wearing earlier.
wanted these suspenders. But then again, they made him so happy.
so happy that he's given the I farted face.
Congratulations.
Ah. And the acid kicks in. I guess it's appropriate. I mean, you just can't completely remove the Smothers Brothers from the 60s, can ya? In fact, I'd imagine this is how the world must have looked to them back then.
Monkey up the string. The Texas Star.
Or an incomplete pentagram.
The Man on the Flying Trapeze.
Well, I wanna be like a yo-yo man.
Just a little deranged and living in a van.
With the goofy dance and funny clothes.
And smelly old jam growing out of his toes.
The Two-Handed Loop-the-Loop.
So are we ever going to learn how to do anything more than just string the yo-yo? Or did I accidentally buy an edited tape again? Either way, I'm starting to think that the only reason they even made this was so that Tom Smothers and Werewolf Dude here could show off.
Here comes the motorcycle.
Yes, I wanna be like a yo-yo man.
Just sticking my tongue in a floor fan.
Riding the horse.
Never say nothing, don't matter to him.
And by the way, his name is Tim.
The Brain Twister.
If I tried to do it, it'd be called the concussion magnet.
Rock the Baby in the Eiffel Tower.
Oh hey, my favorite They Might Be Giants song.
The Dog Bites Man. Ooh. That hurts, doesn't it, Yo-Yo Man?
And just move the yo-yo a little farther north and you'll know exactly what happened to me the last time I tried to use a yo-yo.
Shooting the moon from the palm of your hand. Loop, then do it again. 2 at a time, you know you can. It's a
There just isn't a whole lot in the way of career options for lycanthropes, is there?
blink of an eye. Don't ever you
Ah, they're spawning!
know. Keep on trying and just say yo.
Man, Luis Buñuel would have wet himself at this little sequence. Or yawned. Fun fact, Tom Smothers wouldn't finish this routine unless the audience just sat there and stared at his back for 20 minutes.
Transformed! That's right. He has been transformed by the power and the spirit of Yo. Right, Yo-Yo Man? Yes, he says it's right. I am a new person. I am the spirit of Yo. Now when he meets a small child, the child is enchanted.
Or merely bewitched.
Mercy me, look how enchanted that child looks.
More like captivated.
Enchanted. Very good, Yo-Yo Man. It's working. And when the Yo-Yo Man meets an attractive young woman, she's as enchanted as well. Look how enchanted she looks.
Yeah, I'd argue spellbound.
Yo-Yo Man. That'll straighten your string, won't it?
But strangely enough, soften your yo-yo.
Proof. And now when he meets that sour old political loser, he's also enchanted. What's this? Wait a minute. No, he's not enchanted.
Good lord, guys. Picky, picky, picky.
Try it again, Yo-Yo Man. Go a second time. Look, it worked.
Wow, them some pretty hot moves for the middle of the bird.
Congratulations, Yo-Yo Man. You've gotten them all into a state of yo. So everybody remember, just stay loose, stay cool, stay in the groove, and of course, just say yo.
To drugs!
Yo. All right.
Was that you're in the yo, Tom? I guess Tom really needs that constant reminder.
All right, Yo-Yo Man.
Oh yay, just what I always needed. A look at Tom Smothers' sperm swimming around. That is what that was, right? Creative consultant Kent Weed. Is that like Goldie O'Keefe? somebody actually wanted to take credit for this annoying song.
Catch a little smile with the palm of your hand.
Audience, you can go now. The Smothers Brothers don't do encores.
To the end. He's telling it all with his yo-yo.
And for our last little obligatory bits of information, Kodak Video ceased production of new releases in about 1990. Kodak, as of this episode, is working its way out of bankruptcy, and the new Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour ended in 1989.
Sports, comedy, photography, travel, music, nature, and entertainment for the entire family. It's all here for you to enjoy as you explore the wonderful world of Kodak video programs.
Alright, here goes nothing. I've got the little loop tied, and I let the string out and tightened it up and everything they said to do in the video. Put the string back to where it should be. So I should be able to just kind of let my wrist down and then pull it back a little, and it'll do its thing. Let's see if that actually works. And nope, not even close. Shocker. Moving on, today's other tape is on another subject that I also have absolutely no talent for. And that is photography. And strangely enough, Kodak has nothing to do with this one. But specifically, this tape is on 3D photography. But not like, the red and blue lens glasses or like in a Viewmaster or something. This is on something that I actually never even heard of before. And it's called lenticular photography. And again, I might not be describing this right. This really is not my wheelhouse, but it basically sounds like you're taking for example, the negatives from one of those Viewmaster reels, because you're always looking at two at once, although here it's 4 lenses or 4 stills. And you're taking them and you're making and printing a composite of those pictures, and that's how you get your 3D picture. So anyway, onto the tape itself. I'm 99.99997% certain that this came with the Nishika N8000 3D camera, and this thing is hosted by usually horror meister, but also a fairly well-known art buff, Vincent Price, and it's officially known as Step into the Third Dimension. But anyway, when I was preparing to do this episode, I went on eBay looking for one of these cameras, and I found a bunch of them, and I even found 1 or 2 where the shipping, would be more than the camera. But I did not pick one up because at the same time I was going, where the hell am I going to get the pictures developed? And so I went looking, and I just can't find anyone that would properly take care of those pictures. And of course, Nishika was also in the developing business, and Nishika went under around 1995. But anyway, let's forget about all that and take a little trip back to 1989 when things were still swinging for Nishika, and see if we can't figure out why this whole 3D photography thing, on the consumer level at least, never caught on. Wait, did I accidentally put in Yo-Yo Man again?
World around us in 3 dimensions. But ordinary photography shows us only 2. Now you don't have to settle for 2-dimensional pictures of a 3-dimensional world.
Hallelujah.
Introducing a new dimension in photography. The Nishika N8000 3D camera. Because the world isn't flat.
Insert political joke here. Man, that moon's really eerie tonight. Never mind. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This isn't going to turn into an S&M film, is it? although I wouldn't be surprised if people use their Nishikas for similar things. Who is this mysterious man? Is it Wyatt Earp coming to clean up the Old West, or a legendary bullfighter, or, oh, hi, Grandpa.
Hello, I'm Vincent Price.
Squee.
If you love classic movies, this wax museum might remind you of one of my best-known films, House of Wax.
With Paris Hilton?
While it wasn't the first 3D movie, it certainly was the most famous. And its 3D effects seemed so terrifyingly real, the audiences screamed in horror.
What about 40% of the archive's viewers would like to do to me when I do these episodes?
3D movies still require these ridiculous glasses, of course.
No, but they are a lot worse now.
But in still photography, this, the Nishika N8000.
A cheap knockoff of the Nimslo 3D.
Camera lets you take 3D photos you can enjoy without special glasses or viewers. So real, they're almost alive.
Ooh, catering. Business first.
Miraculous. This photo has such realistic depth. It feels as if you're looking into the picture rather than simply at it.
Can we see?
I just hold a photo squarely in front of me at a distance of 1.5 to 2 feet.
And not an inch more.
The scene is alive. This breakthrough in home photography didn't happen overnight, you know. It took 15 years of research by hundreds of engineers and technicians and over $50 million to create a system so innovative it's protected by more than 100 patents worldwide.
99 of which are now totally useless.
So when they first see the N8000 is its 4 lenses.
It's just a camera for spiders. Nothing new.
The system records 4 different views of the same scene. The Nishika laboratory then puts the views back together, creating your 3D photo. To load your film, open the back door by pulling up on the rewind knob.
Giving your part-time lover ample time to escape before your spouse gets home.
Spool. Make sure you secure a film perforation hole on the hook at the base of the slot. Draw the film cartridge across the back of the camera and drop it into the film chamber. But draw out only enough film for the cartridge to reach the chamber. No, you won't find yourself in a chamber of horrors if you draw out too much.
Darn.
But you might not have enough film for the last picture.
It'll only be in 2.5D.
Make sure the lighting selector is at the right setting. Sunny, partly sunny, or cloudy indoors. Not cloudy indoors, it means cloudy or indoors.
Unless you're at Vincent Price's house. So sad I have to make that joke for
When
them.
you're indoors, set the aperture selector to cloudy indoors. After you've completed a roll of film, rewind it by pressing the rewind button and turning the rewind crank clockwise.
Something my 15-year-old self could never figure out, causing me to flunk my high school photography class.
One of the convenient postage-paid mailers that Nishika provides free of charge.
One mailer only, per customer, per lifetime.
It's lab for processing. The suspense will be over before you know it. The lab will return your photos within 3 business days of the time they receive your film.
Nishika reserves the right to refuse any deliveries.
Myself. We haven't taken any 3D photos yet, have we?
I thought that was on purpose.
To remedy that situation, let's move to beautiful cypress gardens in Florida.
Now part of Legoland. I wish I were joking.
Yeah, now, wasn't that easy? Well,
Vincent Price had some interesting demands in his rider, didn't he? Well, actually, Ben.
I think that I'll just direct this 3D still picture myself, okay? Oh, what do you know? Thank you, girl.
God, he creeps me out.
And now the fun begins. Hello, Robert.
Hello, Vincent!
Did you get that Hickory Farms basket I sent you?
Let me explain how to take 3D pictures with your Nishika 3D camera. You know, taking pictures with your Nishika is really not very different from using an ordinary 2-dimensional camera. But if you want to take the kind of 3D pictures that make everyone scream, bravo, then there are a few special considerations, mostly involving distances and positioning, and you'll have to bear them in mind. You ready?
Right, Vincent!
Suddenly, Robert has supersonic hearing.
The first thing to remember when shooting with your Nishika is always to hold the camera in a horizontal position like this. If you hold it in a vertical position, your pictures will come out flat, without any 3D at all, and we wouldn't want that now, would we?
I shudder at the thought.
Your 3D photos will be most impressive when your picture contains a foreground, main subject, and background. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Overlapping different objects at different distances will also maximize the 3D effect. Okay, Robert, let's take our first shot, shall we?
I'm one step ahead of you, Vincent.
So is Kevin. When you're composing your 3D shots, think depth.
Death?
Try to keep your main subject at a medium distance from the camera. Have something in front of your main subject and have something behind your main subject.
Then pat your head and rub your stomach simultaneously.
Where you'll experience a striking 3D effect. Foreground object in front, then your main subject, and then your background.
Just hold on, Kevin. I'm still taking directions.
The main subject is between 15 and 22 feet from the camera.
I'd personally recommend carrying some surveying tools at all times.
These distance guidelines are designed to help you take the most effective 3D shots possible.
And slowest, apparently.
You can, and you're sure to be satisfied with the results. Now let's choose our foreground.
It's not good enough.
Just about any available
I need more rocks to stand on.
foreground. Let's see. This bush will do just fine. Although those branches over there would work equally as well.
With the Nishika N8000, you'll have the nicest pictures of branches and bushes that anyone ever saw.
A foreground object at 6 feet with a main object at from 15 to 22 feet, the 3D effect is spectacular.
And I'd love to see it sometime.
Here, don't let your foreground object come too close to the camera. The camera's focal range starts at 5.5 feet. Nothing in your picture should be any closer to the camera than that. For your foreground, 6 feet is ideal. 5 feet is just too close for comfort.
Because adjustable focus is for sissies.
Fine, then move around until you get the composition you like best. You'll want the foreground object to overlap more distant objects in the photo. Then the 3D effect will be particularly dramatic.
Though your intended subject matter will be just a distant speck.
The brightest colors possible, like Kevin's yellow shirt.
Though reflective safety vests are even
Your
better.
lighting selector.
Right, Vincent.
Vincent's just teleported closer to Robert. Impressive.
Good. Shoot.
Okay, Kevin. This one's for Grandma.
Okay, keep steady. Keep steady.
Next, we're all going up to a house. It's on a hill, but alas, it's not haunted. Well, here we are in Cindy's house, and it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Cindy.
Thank you, Mr. Price.
You're welcome. You know, when you're shooting indoors, lighting is more critical than ever.
And speaking of critical, Robert is currently in critical condition at Winter Haven Hospital.
Flash will work, but we suggest the Nishika Twin Light 3000.
MSRP
Some
$199.99.
flexibility in all kinds of situations. Notice how Carol is adjusting the flash to bounce off the ceiling. That gives a soft glow.
Emphasis!
How about starring in this picture with Cindy?
Why, sure. I'd love to co-star with you, Cindy.
Oh, hey, Robert's back.
Oh, that looks good. Smile.
You know, I just realized I'm probably around the same age as Cindy. How come Vincent Price never came to my birthday parties?
I've enjoyed our little get-together, and I hope you have too. But before I go, let me say how delighted I am that you have entered the wondrous world of Nishika. Many happy memories captured in lifelike 3D await you. You're sure to be thrilled with the astonishing depth and realism of your photos.
So real, we're not even gonna attempt to simulate one of our pictures.
This was when he first contemplated the realism of these
Jeez!
incredible creatures.
Let some drink developer fluid. Why do they always insist on a fog machine?
The Nishika 3D camera. It will change the way you picture the world.
Nishika, the most Japanese-sounding company to ever come out of Henderson, Nevada. Well, that's it for today's archive. Join us next time when I get nagged into buying one of those Nishika cameras and several rolls of film and big bottles of photo-developing chemicals and a high-resolution scanner and a copy of Adobe Photoshop. Also, I can take one lousy picture that I probably wouldn't even be able to effectively share with you anyway. Or I just get nagged by a few keyboard warriors for making fun of Vincent Price. Let's see what we get here. And back, and all right. Thanks, Tom Smothers.